Palace Approach Ledge is easily the most well-known farm in Elden Ring. If you've got the endgame relic sword for beating the Elden Beast, you can literally spam the Wave of Gold Ash of War and take out every Albinoric frogman in a 12-mile radius. On top of that, you can spin around from the Site of Grace and pop an arrow at the bird at the bottom of the cliff. This will trick it into jumping, giving you even more runes. Depending on how strong you are and how many times you've New Game Plussed, you can get an easy 100k runes or close to it with one wave of the Ash of War. You can also get a nice 15k for the bird, and the Site of Grace is literally right next to you, so you can reset and start again straight away. The most obvious con is this process can get incredibly boring quite fast. If you're not leveled enough, you might have to use the Ash of War a few times to take out the stronger Albinorics, and you risk being hit by their spiked charge attacks. Getting here requires either getting through an NPC's full quest line or making it to a late game area to access a portal. I will share a video on how to get here in the comments. This farm could net you between 60 and 150k, and it will take an average of 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Again, just before we get to the next one, here's the whole farm sped up. For anyone that doesn't have the Relic Sword or access to the Palace Approach Ledge, you'll most likely at least have access to Caelid. More importantly, Fort Farith. Here you can hit a dragon repeatedly with a weapon that causes blood loss, and eventually you'll take the dragon down and get a nice 70k runes. But what's even better here is that you can actually hop on your horse and speed back to the Site of Grace to stop the dragon from disappearing. You'll still get your runes and you'll be able to repeat the process. While doing this, you won't be attacked by anything. Even if you're level 1, you can still do big damage with a blood loss weapon, and 70k is a lot for early to mid-game players. The only con for this is you might be a bit too slow in resetting the dragon. Just make sure as soon as you see the dragon doing the dying animation, call your horse and immediately run to the Site of Grace. This farm will get you around 70k and will take 3 to 5 minutes. And as always, here's the full farm sped up. For our first DLC entry, we're going to the Hinterlands. This is the one I've been doing a lot recently on one of my characters, and it's pretty easy getting here. I will share a video on how to get here in the comments, as you will need a specific gesture and to access it through a very specific area. You will once again be using the Wave of Gold Ash of War, but you get to actually move around in this farm. You get a similar amount of runes as you do on the Palace Approach Ledge. The enemies here drop a lot of smithing stones, and it's not as boring as Palace Approach Ledge, and you have 2 sites of grace between you, so you can reset at the end of the run and then go in reverse to mix things up. You will need to beat Moog and buy the DLC to get here, and for those who like being half AFK at Palace Approach Ledge, you actually have to press more buttons and walk up the hill. This farm will net you between 90 and 150k runes, and it will take on average between 2 to 4 minutes. Now, before I leave you, here's the full farm sped up, and if this helped, please do consider subscribing to help me out too. And as always, thanks for watching.